I have some interesting information to read. How many of you actually read this magazine when you get it? How many of you have read this issue? Just came out. Okay. Don't blame us. But, you know, a lot of clients will say that they seek the service of a real estate agent so that when something goes wrong, they've got someone to blame. We as real estate agents are looking for somebody to pass the buck to as well, in many instances. And right now it seems to be the appraisals and the HVCC. The fact that there are some things in here that even I didn't understand about appraisal and the HVCC. We all know that they've taken a cut and pay because the management companies are taking their fee off the top, so appraisers are making less than they used to. Realtors would lose fewer transactions and be less critical of appraisers if they understood the guideline banks and the federal government now require them to follow. 90% of realtors know nothing about appraising. I guess I'm going to raise my hand. Appraisers are required to provide a total of 5 market comparables with each report. 3 on properties sold within 90 days, all from public record. Public record is title, not MLS, public record. 1 active listing comparable and 1 pending sell, both from the MLS. Comparables must be similar, within 30% in size to other homes in the neighborhood and in the same condition. Some realtors believe the rules prevent them from speaking to appraisers. Absolutely not true. They appreciate a realtor's local neighborhood knowledge, but dislikes it when agents try to manipulate the process. For example, a recent FHA appraisal of a property in a planned unit development drew realtor-provided comps from outside the development, even though there were comps right down the street. So it goes back to that, knowing your market. If you have, within a 1-mile radius or a shorter, enough comps, you can't go outside to get the better comp. If you've got comps within the range, they've got to use those comps, even if there's a comp outside the range that is better. You go on a listing to do a CMA that will say they can get more money for a seller because they took information from outside the area. And then when it comes to the actual sale of the property and the appraisal, they're going to have to come back and use only those comps that are within that area.
They won't talk to you after the appraisal is done or the appraisal is no good. And we found that emailing the comps to the appraiser when they call for the appointment gets our stuff to them before they've made up their little mind as far as value. Once they've made up their mind, you're sunk. So if you can email the comps to them when they call for the appointment, which means having them already.
Good information. And that's true. When the appraiser calls to schedule the appointment, ask for their email address and say, can I send you over the comps that I used to come up with my value? And send it to them. Provide information at the appraisal. If you've got a property that has been richly upgraded over the competition, you have to remember that the appraiser is just going off of the public information. He hasn't gone into those properties. He doesn't know what they look like. If you talk to them about these homes were blah, 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 and this home has blah, 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 you can layer on the additional cost if it's got a view, if it's got a custom pool, if it's got granite countertops and they were built in '79 and they still had Formica. There are things that you can talk to the appraiser about, but like Leonard said, after it's done, the rebuttal process, usually they're only going to talk to the loan officer or the underwriter.